Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Italy. It's round 4 of the FIM Motocross World Championship in the MXGP of Trentino here at Pietramarata. As you can see, we're in the north of the country. 14 degrees, a light breeze blowing around this racetrack here. And man, if you just missed MX2 a moment ago, what a race that was to kick things off here. Won't mention any names or results or anything like that, but it was definitely something to look forward to here for MXGP Race 1. If that was anything to go by. 1,550 metres, the racetrack here, right beneath the Dolomite Mountains, and the fans are in the house. Right, before we go anywhere though, let's take a quick look behind the scenes at Honda Red Motor AWESOME.
For sure, it's excited to be at the MXGP, and luckily I have 3 this year. I like it. All the friends and sponsors that cannot come, all the Europes, they come in Italy. For the riders, it's really important to have people around you that support and are cheering for you.
For me, my first year is this year because last year I did some races, but it was not good. End of January, I had a bigger arm pump, so I decided to do my operation directly and to feel good, yes, for the races when I'm ready to go back, because it was not possible to race like this.
Yeah, I've been in the same team of last year. We worked really hard and we had great results. From private year, we battled with the factory team, and also we beat them sometimes, so that means we are doing a good job.
I'm really happy to be on this team and to have these people on my side, so we will see the result, but I'm confident.
At the moment, I'm too slow at the beginning. I have to improve on the first 10 minutes of the race, because now the speed, there is, I think, the race is, we have 3 groups. There is the first 3, then there is other from 4 to 10. We have at the same speed, and then there is another group on the back. So to make a step is important at the beginning of the race.
The MXGP class is really difficult, and the level is really high. All the riders have a lot of experience, and many team factories. I think top 15 are really fast.
Now that we have a lot of races during the season, especially I do also Italian Championship, it's even 7 races more. During the season, 1 time on the week we go on the bike, and then we have races every weekend, so we keep on training on the races. Having a baby didn't change me a lot on the track, but outside of the track it changed a lot. When you become that, then you feel your life full. You feel that before you was missing something, and now I'm really proud to be a dad, especially of my wonderful daughter. And when I'm riding, my riding also for her now. We got a lot of rain on the Thursday here in Arco. I think the track will be really wet on Saturday, but here the ground is strange, a lot of stone. The rain doesn't stay, they go deeper, so it should be fine for the Sunday.
So a quick look behind the scenes at Kevin Van Benroy Kawasaki then. As you can see, the atmosphere is starting to build here. A few moments ago though, Lisa was down on the grid amongst the cauldron. She spoke to the Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha Arno Tonus, but before that, Red Bull KTM's Tony Cairoli.
MXGP Race 1 is almost about to start now. I want to speak to one of the most popular guys here this weekend. Can you guess who it is? It's our points leader, Tony Cairoli. Tony, busy weekend for you. It's not just about racing this weekend. There's a lot going on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very, very busy. Fortunately, it's nice to have so many people here. But in one side, it's very difficult to be focused on the race. I have been a lot busy this week, and we try to be as focused as possible. Okay, everybody want to have me, and want to grab my hand and autograph and photos, but it's part of the game. So we try to stay as much focused as possible and try to stay on the podium. This is a difficult GP, okay. We want to win, but it's a difficult GP, so we want to stay with the feet on the ground and trying to collect good points.
Let's quickly talk about the track. It's drying out a little bit from yesterday. Perhaps a little less technical, more open. Is it faster today? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's getting actually better. This morning was too flat, I think, and not so many lines. Yesterday, a little bit too much lines, too deep, and only one line. So today, I think by the second mode, we're going to be a little bit more technical, and will be a little bit more easy for technical rider to make some gap, you know. But I think this first mode are going to be quite fast.
Have a great race. Thank you. Okay, the next rider I'd like to catch up with is Volvo Yamaha's Arno Tonis. Arno, talk about qualifying yesterday. Your best race result of the year. Okay, I know it was just qualifying, but for you, a great confidence boost and a momentum coming into the race day.
Yeah, definitely. It was a big step for me compared to the last few weeks, so I'm very happy to be up there. It feels good, and I love this track, I love this place, so I hope for some good racing today.
It's definitely a fantastic track to be at, even more so for you because you got your first MXGP podium back in 2017. Good memories coming here. Is it a good track for you? Do you feel at home out there?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, you know, there's something about this track and the energy and everything. I'm happy to be here, so yeah, I'm just looking forward for good racing and having some fun on the bike.
Have a good one. Best of luck. Thank you. Good luck to all the guys here. It's time for MXGP Race 1.
Italia sono davanti anche lì, quindi bene, la stagione è lunga, siamo concentrati e facciamo il nostro meglio. Buon divertimento e buona fortuna ad Alex e Salvini e attenzione perché si accennano i fumogeni.
So the riders have just made their way back to the waiting zone, or if not, they're about to. They're not far off that anyway, but a revision in the calendar of MXGP 2019. So if you look towards the bottom right, you'll notice that after Shanghai, we will not be going to Hong Kong. So we get a weekend off before the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations at Assen. But Trentino, 7th of April, look, we don't go again until the 12th of May. So about 5 weeks, and we're back in Italy. We'll be at Mantova, then we'll go to Portugal, then we'll go to France. So Agada and Saint-Jean-d'Angely. Of course, for all of that, go to mxgp.com. Our calendar is on the homepage. The MXGP of Trentino, Pietramarca then. This is how the riders look coming into this in terms of the championship. Tony Cairoli has only dropped 3 points in the chase so far, and that was because of a defeat at the hands of Tim Gajser, race 2, Matterley Basin, 2 rounds ago. But Cairoli on 147, 22 behind him is Gajser. Same distance behind him is DeSalle. Paulin just one adrift, and then we've got the Jerryman tied on points with Gauthier Paulin. Anyway, here's what happened in the MXGP qualifying race yesterday. And there was some exciting racing on the track for these guys. The gate dropped. 1 or 2 riders spun up on the gate. Tony Cairoli, though, right in the centre, but he was just out-dragged by the 243 of Tim Gajser. Around the outside, we had the 77 of Lupino, but he got past there by Monticelli. Meanwhile, in third was Arno Tonis on his Yamaha, number 4. Lupino then got passed by the, it was DeSalle a little bit further back, finding his way through. Jeremy van der Horbeek, just see from the aero peak there and the stickers on it, as he went after Brian Bogers, 189, he moved to the outside. 143, just behind them was Davide De Bartoli. But up front, Cairoli doing his best to keep Gajser in his sights, and obviously both sets of fans more than vocal around this racetrack. Cairoli came under threat from the number 4 of Tonis in the early stage of the race, but the surprise was the fast starting Ivo Monticelli on the standing construct KTM. He was right there in 4th place, just ahead of Lupino. Glenn Koldenoff came in towards the end of the opening lap to get some running repairs as Paulin made his move on Anton Goll. The JWR Yamaha rider there having a good start as well. He eventually came home in 10th place. Paulin had his hands full with the number 41 of Pauls Jonas, but eventually he went through to take 6th. All eyes are on this battle though at the front. Tim Gajser continued to manage the gap, if you can call it that, of course. Anstey fell on turn on the opening lap, picked himself up, got himself into Benoit Patrellas. Julian Lieber eventually fell down to 11th. He lost 3 positions in that little tip over. Final lap though, Cairoli went to the inside, back markers were at play, but Gajser did just hang on. And he went on to win the qualifying race here at Trentino by about a half a second. Cairoli was second. Arno Tonas came home third, and then it was Monticelli and Paulin. So here's how the riders line up then for race 1 and 2 today. As a result of that qualifying race, Tim Gajser for Team HRC, Red Bull's Tony Cairoli, Monster Energy Wilvo, Yamaha's Arno Tonas, Ivo Monticelli standing construct KTM. Then it was Paulin Lupino for Kevin van Venrooy Kawasaki. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Paul Jonas. And then the Monster Energy Yamaha of Jeremy Seewer. Ninth was Sean Simpson on the RFX KTM powered by PAR Homes. And Anton Gold for JWR Yamaha. Tommy Searle on the Boss GP Kawasaki was next. And the Jeremy Van Hoorbeek for Honda SR Motor Blues. Julian Lieber, Arminas Jasikonis, Max Anstey, Clement de Sal and Benoit Pacharel. De Sal didn't look his usual self yesterday. I just wonder whether he's carrying a slight niggle from his escapades in Matterley and Valkenswaard a week ago. You see the De Sal there in the background, number 25, but all eyes focused on this guy, number 243, Team HRC, Tim Gajser. He slots in next to the number 4 of Arno Tonas, well, between the two Yamahas actually, Monster Energy Wilvo and Monster Energy Yamaha. Jeremy Seewer. Tony Cairoli, is he to the left or to the right of Tim Gajser? Maybe he's gone just slightly to the left, because if he gets the jump, then he stops the... no, he's gone to the right, look. So right in the centre of the podium, we've got Tim Gajser, and about 2 gates over, 3 gates over, we've got Cairoli. There is Jeremy Seewer. Seewer at the moment 7th in the championship, 14 behind Jasikonis. And there's a bunch of Swiss fans have travelled across the borders to see him as well, of course, just north of here. There's Arno Tonas, got his first ever MXGP podium here a couple of years ago. Spoke to him down on the grid just a few moments ago with Lisa Leyland, and he was saying he's got a nice vibe about this place. It's got a good energy, this place. Maybe it's also to do with the hard, rocky circuit, that hard-packed track, because he really is efficient in this. There's Gauthier Paulin and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. These two are tied on points at the moment, 102 apiece. Paulin has taken 2/5, a second, 2 thirds and a 13th, and the Jerry man has gone 6 and 3, 5 and 6, and 5 and 3. Both have been on the podium, both got a third, with Van Hoorbeek third overall in Argentina, Gauthier Paulin third in Great Britain. Round 2. Monticelli from the inside there, the 128. What can he do on the standing construct KTM? He's had some decent starts the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? And he finished 4th in the qualifying race on Saturday, so he'll be looking forward to this. Brian Bogers, the 189 for Team HRC, 18th in qualifying. And it was about this time last year that he got back on the bike after his foot injuries from 17 and found out that actually it needed more work. So it was a tough year for Brian Bogus last year. 99, there is Max Anstey, 15th in qualifying. And Anstey sits in 10th in the championship, 6 behind Julian Lieber on the number 33, Monster Energy Kawasaki. Right, we've got a green flag at the back. So everybody in position, get a green flag here. And guess what? The Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the first time today for MXGP. MXGP Race 1, 30 minutes plus 2. It's round 4 of the FIA Motocross World Championship. The MXGP of Trentino here at Pietra Marata. Who is it going to be that grabs the foxhole shot? Cairoli gets a good jump, and this time he comes across Gajser, who manages to keep it in there. We've got, I thought Gajser was going over the bank there. Lupino right there in second. Italians 1, 2 and 3 as they hit the line with Monticelli in third. And Paulin in 4th place. Gajser gets into the Yamaha rider, almost takes his leg off, and then goes past the Frenchman and the Italian in 2 corners. Wow, explosive stuff here. And I bet Paulin and Gajser have words after this one, because that was a lunge right up the inside into the side of Paulin. Tonas just behind his teammate for Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha. Then we've got Simpson, and then Jonas. And Gajser up the inside of Monticelli. Well, he's not messing around, is he? He's not hanging around. Gajser, he has been aggressive on this opening lap. slammed into Paulin up the inside of Monticelli. We heard a panic rev there, and this time he buries it down the inside of Lupino, and he's gone from about 5th or 6th to 2nd in about a half a lap. Tim Gajser has woke up and he smelt the coffee. He's on it. Monticelli tries to go around the outside, and Lupino gets in there as well. And Lupino goes through on the Italian, his fellow Italian. Monticelli did well to hold that line there ahead of Paulin, and that outsider's working for the standing construct KTM. And he charges down the inside of Lupino, takes another place back. Inspired stuff from the little 128, the Diddy man. Well, we said MX2 was exciting, and we've already had an explosive start here in MXGP Race 1. Towards the end of this first lap then. And Ivo Monticelli, number 128, getting ready to hit the line now in 3rd place. 4th is the 77 of Alessandro Lupino on the Geven van Venrooy Kawasaki. Then we've got Paulin, 21. And then Arno Tonis, whose legs come off the pegs, coming out of that turn 3. Got to be aggressive. We've seen that already from Gajser, but the way he slammed into Paulin coming out of turn 3, or going into turn 3 on the start, maybe just a little bit too much, but it's Cairoli who leads. There's Gajser in 2nd, then a gap of about 4 seconds to Monticelli. Right, Paulin up the inside of Lupino this time. Soft on the landing, those braking bumps a little bit softer than normal at the top of your screen. But Paulin already, what, 5.5, 6 seconds down on the leaders. There's a wayward KTM. Somehow stays up on 2 wheels there, Monticelli, at the end of that straight into turn 11. Right, here's Tonis looking to go around Lupino, and then he gets squeezed to the bank in that next uphill off camber. Looking to go around the outside, but Lupino, wow, I thought Lupino was just going to run him wide there, but Tonis a lot harder on the brakes, going after his teammate, number 21, Paulin. So the 2 Monster Energy Wilvo Yamahas line astern in, what, 4th and 5th place. Cairoli set the fastest lap that time around, a 1:48.07, 2/10 quicker than Gajser. Gajser right there, that gap was 1.9 seconds, well, 1.996. So we'll keep an eye on that, but obviously Tony Cairoli, he's had a busy week here. Over the line again, a 47.7 fastest lap of the race. Gajser a 47.759, so 100 in it between these two. That gap goes to 2.013 of a second. Monticelli is 3rd, Paulin 4, Tonis 5, Lupino 6, Simpson is 7, Benoit Paturel, great to see him back here. He's in 8, Jeremy Seewer is 9, and then 10 is Paul Jonas. 11th is DeSalle, 12th is Jassiconis, 13th is the Jerryman Van Horbig, Tommy Searle is 14, Samuele Bernardini 15, Anstey is 16, 17 is Julian Lieber, 18 Tano Leok, Glenn Koltnoff and Petar Petrov ran out the top 20. Here's Gauthier Paulin and Arno Tonis. Tonis doubling his way through there, you see that. So too Sean Simpson. Some riders wheelie and then double at the end, and I think Jonas just down the inside of DeSalle, or Jassiconis Jassiconis squeezed because Jonas was already ahead, look. So Clement DeSalle moving from 11th down to 12th over on that far corner as they go after the 91 of Jeremy Seewer and Benoit Paturel in the number 6 for Geven van Venrooy Kawasaki. DeSalle just wanting to try and get through this weekend because we've got a 4 or 5 week break in order for him to get fixed up before Mantova. But look at Paulin down the inside of Monticelli. Monticelli tries to cut back across. Didn't realize that Paulin was right there, but almost went rubber on rubber in that bottom corner. So Paulin now up in the 3rd as Cairoli sets an even faster lap here on 1:46.8. The gap goes out 6/10. between him and Gajser. Paulin sets his fastest lap of the race to move into third, pushing the standing construct KTM of Ivo Monticelli here, number 128, into fourth, who is riding inspired here at his home round here in Italy at Trentino. Arno Tonis, the second of the Wilvo Yamahas, though, dropping downhill, split by the KTM. Right, the Pinot looks like he's regrouped. Sean Simpson just taking a little while to get into it here. He's in 7th position for RFX KTM, powered by PAR Homes. But this is a gap between first and second. Cairoli in the driving seat at the moment. And Gajser's aggressive opening lap or so looks like it's been halted ever so slightly, as Cairoli looks to try and establish a lead of more than 3 seconds. It was 2.6 at the end of lap 3. We're now on lap 4. And this racetrack just opening up nicely now. You would never have believed that a week's worth of rain fell on this racetrack here. It stopped the early hours of Friday morning. We never really got any yesterday. Maybe a bit of drizzle in the morning. Might have just been morning mist. But it has certainly created a fantastic base for this racetrack here this weekend, Trentino. Yes, it's rocky. Yes, it's stony. But you know what? It's challenging. It's gnarly. Soft in places. And I hope they don't really sort of fluff it up too much for the afternoon's proceedings. But here's Arno Tonis going after the 128 Monticelli. Slight bubble there from the Italian in that fluorescent 4 kit as he comes out of that final turn. Front end a little bit high, gets a bit of a bounce. Manages to hang on in there in 4th place, though. But looking up at the screen, guess what? Gajser all of a sudden goes fastest lap of the race, a 1:46.6 compared to a 47.2. So the gap now down to just over 2 seconds between Cairoli and Gajser. So has Gajser just got a sniff at the aftershave of Cairoli here, or what? That was nice. So was that. Carried that momentum around the outside. Just looking on his racecraft here is Gajser. Monticelli still hanging on in there in 4th place, look. Oh, but for how much longer? That back end a little bit looser than he would have liked. Tonis still not able to find a way through. In 5th position on that Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha here, number 4. The Swiss rider getting a lot of home support here this weekend. So too, Jeremy Sear, actually, who's currently down in 9th place. Jonas in 10th, ahead of his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna teammate Arminas Jasikonis. The Monster Energy Kawasaki of DeSalle is 12th. Van Hoorbeek on the Honda SR Motor Blues, the private Honda, is in 13th, ahead of the Bosch GP Kawasaki of Tommy Searle. Max Anstey, teammate to this guy here, 128. Monticelli. Then we've got the A1M Husqvarna of Tano Leoc in 16, Julian Lieber 17 for Monster Energy Kawasaki. Then in 18th place we've got Glenn Koldenoff, Samuele Benedini in 19th for Gidanelli Yamaha Racing, and Petr Petrov, North Europe KTM. Right, the gap still hovering around about 2.1 seconds. The atmosphere this morning when we rocked up was electric. We had the usual Pavarotti Nessandorma blowing through the valley here at around about 9:15, just before the 125 warm-up session. These guys here are on their feet, flares all over the place. The Italians on the opposite side with their red, white and green flares as well, showing their support for their home riders. And it was vocal, the chainless chainsaws, the noise, the atmosphere really starting to build from first thing this morning. And this guy would have lapped it up as well, the 128 of Ivo Monticelli. And he's doing a fantastic job of keeping Tonis behind him. Oh, Lupino just having to steady himself as he goes through that corner as well. Number 77 in that 6th place on that Gavin van Venrooy Kawasaki. What are the lap times for Paulin? Actually 48.8, so he's already 13 seconds off Cairoli, 11 seconds down on Gajser. But crucially, in terms of the championship, Gauthier Paulin, who arrived here 4th, 1 point behind Clement DeSalle. DeSalle is in 12th place, so he's only going to be picking up 9 points. And if Paulin stays where he is, going to collect 20. So he'll gain points on DeSalle. He'll go 10 clear. Right, Monticelli weathering the storm, and so too, well, Tim Gajser is all over the back of Tony Cairoli, and both set the fastest sectors in 1 and 3, but it is the impetus and the momentum now is with the 2:43 of Tim Gajser, Team HRC. All of a sudden, 19 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and well, there's still plenty of time, but Gajser has just figured out how to ride this racetrack. He's turned it up a notch. The fans are turning up a level as well. They're now to about 11. And just like it was in qualifying yesterday, oh, Gajser just caught the hole there on the exit of the turn, sent him a bit forward, but he's okay. Just like qualifying yesterday, we're going to have a real game of cat and mouse, a real game of chess here between these two giants of MXGP. Who's going to blink first, though? Back towards us here, probably the heaviest part of the racetrack. A lot softer than usual. Following each other through, and yeah, boys are feeling it down there in pit lane on both sides. Tony Cairoli has a bobble going into that turn, and Anstey is down. So Anstey, the standing construct KTM rider, tries to get himself back upright on that KTM. Where is that? That's just after the finish line jump, isn't it? Meanwhile, Benoit Paturel right in there with Jeremy Seewer as Cairoli gets ready to click off lap number 7 here in MXGP Race 1. It's round 4 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, and Tim Gajser is not letting him out of his sights. The gap, 1.2 seconds, but we can see that on screen. Bit untidy on the run down to turn 4 there for the Italian. Little smoother for Gajser. He's had some scrapes through here, hasn't he, Tim Gajser, over the years? Scrapes and scraps. Decided his MX2 Grand Prix victory here in this corner with Jeffrey Hurlings back in 2015, where the two traded first and second place finishes. Meanwhile, here is Paturel, number 6. And the two Rockstar Energy Husqvarnas of Pauls Jonas and AJ Arminas Jasikonis don't look like they're going to be too polite either. Jonas gets a good drive down the inside, but will he make it stick on the exit of the turn? I think he might do. Benoit Paturel probably just trying to race himself into some kind of fitness as Jasikonis lunges down the inside. The Frenchman doing his best to keep the Lithuanian at bay, though, who switches tactic, goes to the outside here on the number 27. And it works, courtesy of a bobble there from his teammate, number 41, Jonas. So two riders in 2 corners for the 27. Moves up from 11th to 9th now. 15.5 plus 2. And these two are right on the very top of their game at the moment. Tony Cairoli, Tim Gajser. It was 1.2 a lap ago. It's still 1.2 now. Again, almost to the 100th and 1000th of a second. 46.879, 46.887 for Cairoli and Gajser, respectively. Gauthier Paulin will wait for the Monster Energy Volvo Yamaha rider to come through any moment now over the line. And the gap between those two there, Cairoli and Gajser and Paulin, around 19-20 seconds. Monticelli about 4 seconds behind Paulin. He's still got Tonus and Lupino and Simpson in 7th place, bearing down on him. 8th is Seewer, 9th Jasikonis, 10 Jonas, 11 DeSalle. Paturel now dropping like a stone. Van Hoorbeek up to 12th. Paturel down to 13th, Searle 14. Back marker, Clement Gertje there, fellow Slovenian. So lapping up to, where are we now, 29th? Oh, Tonus needed every inch of those long legs over on the far side there to get himself through that corner as Number 77, Alessandro Lupino, just got unseated there as he caught a hole in the dirt there in that same corner. So Tonus in 5th, Lupino on that green Kawasaki, he's in 6th place. Simpson just behind him on his orange KTM. Wow. Which way is this one going to go? The gap still 1.2 seconds. Cairoli still leads. Gajser still staring down the back of his exhaust pipe on that KTM in that 2nd place. Nice and neat for Cairoli. Takes a look over his shoulder. Oh, scrubbing neatly there, isn't he? Don't want to catch your foot back. Not there. Very measured, isn't it, from both these guys at the moment, but who's going to turn it up first? Anstey getting lapped, of course. He went down a couple of laps ago. Didn't see it, but bike was facing in the wrong direction, it looked like anyway. So Anstey then outside of the points, probably just trying to get some track time ahead of race 2. No change in 3rd. Paulin still there. Monticelli is still 4th. Tonus still in 5th. Slightly more economical through that left-hander for Tim Gajser at the top of the hill. Didn't go so deep into that muddy rut. Might have made the difference as well. A couple of tenths here and there. Different lines on the way into this corner as well. Turn 18 behind pit lane. Is that 1.2? Probably still about the same. Maybe slightly less. So the noise just starting to build. The gap, 1.1. Cairoli with 11.5 plus 2 to go. Definitely getting his hands full now as the Slovenian Tim Gajser, the only rider to beat Cairoli so far in 2018, is doing his best to take another race win and potentially his first Grand Prix victory of the season. Remember, Cairoli has all Grand Prix victories this year through all 3 rounds. Argentina, Matterley Basin in Great Britain, and Valkenswaard in the Netherlands a week ago. But a bobble there from Gajser. He just overcooked it at the end of the straight. Had to go straight on in the rut. He's going to have to work overtime now just to get back on terms, back onto the rear wheel of Tony Cairoli on that KTM ahead of him. And he's going to hope that the 222 ahead of him also makes a mistake. But you can tell from the body language from Gajser, looked like he was content to sit back there, but he's upped the ante here just after that mistake, just doing his best to get right back on terms. No changes elsewhere in the leaderboard. Paulin is still 3rd, ahead of Monticelli. Tonus in the top 5. Lupino 6, Simpson 7, Siwa, Jasikonis and Jonas rounding out the top 10. It's MXGP Race 1. It was a 1.1 deficit that Gajser had to make up, and I think it's just going to be just a little bit more than that this time around. A 46.7, fastest lap for Tony Cairoli, as in his own personal fastest lap this time around. 47.2, pulls a half a second, 1.5 that gap. Blue flags being waved. Anstey in. So the standing construct KTM rider then tried to go back out. Not sure what the issue was, but Gajser all of a sudden just being left here. So Tony Cairoli looks like he's just turned it up with 9.5 to go. And he's saying to Tim Gajser, come on in, come with me. Artem Guriev, 5.55, moving out of the way, staying out of the way. The difficult place to race here, Trentino. Yes, it's softer than normal. Yes, the holes and the bumps are still here, and they are a lot softer than normal, but it's a throttle control racetrack. It's hard, it's slick. You ask too much of the rear end, and you know that the thing is going to come around, and it's not going to be forgiving. So you can't just whack open the throttle and hope that the thing just kicks off. It's a controlled, it's a measured pace that you have to have here. But these two just pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries. Having said that, they look very much in control, the pair of them. Nice run through that corner there for Gajser. May have just crept back a little time. Cairoli will look up and you'll see a back marker right there in front of him, right where he doesn't want him. And all of a sudden, 1.5 seconds, it's going to be back down to nothing. In fact, it's down to 9.12. And that's rattled Cairoli. Not clean through that bottom corner, and Gajser all over the back of him once again. Blue flag should be waving around this point. Yeah, and this talk about not wanting to get involved, just pull right off the racetrack, not even out of your own line. So Cairoli, we've got waved yellows at the top of the hill, so let's have a look. Oh, we're going down to pit lane with Lisa.
So I just spoke to Max Anstey's team. When he went down, he actually hurt his right leg. It's not serious, but it is giving him some trouble in this race. So what he wants to do is rest it before lining up on the grid for that second race. So he will be back for race 2.
Cairoli makes a mistake over on the far side of the circuit, and Gajser right back in there. Thanks for the update, but let's get back to the action here. And Cairoli is on the ropes, and this guy's put him there. Trying his best to open up that gap again and running into one or two little problems of his own. There's Portland in the opposite direction. And again, a slight bobble there into that corner at the top of the hill. You cannot take your eyes off of this. The guys over here with the vantage point, a slight lazy look over the right shoulder of Tony Cairoli. 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go here in MXGP Race 1. Has Gajser got the measure of Cairoli in this one? Are we going to see a change of lead in the next 6.5 minutes or so? Whatever. Oh, perfect drive there from Gajser. Where did that come from? Oh, he's definitely ready to go, isn't he? He's pulled his own pin, and the fans are on their feet. All of a sudden, this place has come alive. And they're loving every minute of it, and so are we. Oh, big panic rev there from Gajser. Is that a spot of rain on our camera lens up there? I hope not. Not yet, anyway. Right, in and out of that turn, nice and early. There was nothing in it. 0.4 of a second as they hit the line. At the end of lap 13, we're now on lap 14. They've got 30 seconds over Portland in third. Gajser just able to fathom out and figure out where he may be a little quicker here or there than Cairoli. Cairoli has led every single one of the 13 laps here. He doesn't have that same kind of reference point or those reference points that Gajser is just able to bank into that memory of his. He can say, right, I know I'm good here, I'm good there. I can use this here. For instance, going past pit lane through the left-right into the final corner, the amount of drive that he got last time around, are we going to see him utilize that to its full potential in the next 5 minutes or so? Because is that where he's going to make the move? Good drive and then cut to the inside, and what would be a last corner pass. Same again here, look, he's quick through there. Cairoli gains half a second that time around. The gap, 0.9 of a second. It was 0.4 a lap ago. When we talk about flexing muscles and handing out defeats and that psychological blow and all the rest of it, but there's some real stretching going on here, isn't there, of the genitalia at the moment. Here's Gauthier Paulin out on his own, 31 seconds down. And back to the action here. First and second. Cairoli, Gajser. A very easy corner to get wrong there because you're jumping in at the end of that wave section. You hit that soft patch. You need the momentum to keep you upright because it is like quicksand through that left-hander. And we saw Gajser go straight on there a couple of laps ago, but he has rectified that. He's got right back onto the rear wheel of TC. Paulin still third. Searle has been, well, he did find himself past Patrel a moment ago, but it looks like Searle has lost a couple of positions, now down in 17th, Patrel 14, Koldenhoff 15, Leok 16. Right, 17, Jose Boutron. Well, he almost goes through the front door. He needs to stay well out of the way. There's Cairoli. Hopefully Gajser doesn't get caught out in that. He doesn't. The experienced Spaniard does his best to stay out of the fight. Look at the difference in line there. Oh, we see in rehearsals here from Tim Gajser. Oh, the first look over the shoulder. And another bubble there at the top of the hill. And Gajser, right in front of his home fans, goes through. And Cairoli is going to fight back immediately. Wow, gloves are off. He's got fed up of eating the roost off the rear wheel of that KTM. And Gajser goes for the jugular. He goes to the front on lap 16 with the fastest lap of the race. They can't look. 46.4, the fastest lap of the race. And Cairoli now needs to dig deep here. The young pretender catching the master by surprise. He now has to go. And there's a danger in that you overcook it. But it's Cairoli who just messed up in that bottom corner. Watch this. He ran it down the inside. Cairoli tried to fight back immediately. Look at that. Whoa. Close is not the word. And Gajser is making a run for it. He's got his fans on the corner here. You see the flags out there. Above that turn, the right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Bernardini getting lapped. Cairoli over jumps. Bernardini takes a look over. Thinks, well, if Gajser's through, Cairoli can't be too far behind. Not clean for Cairoli, but for the first time, Tim Gajser will lead over the line here in MXGP Race 1. And the fans are on their feet. They are ecstatic. Petrov does his best to get out of the way as well on the 152 KTM for North Europe Racing. This was a lap ago. Cairoli knew he was there, and then he bobbled in this turn. Gajser committed to the outside and thought, you know what? See what happens in this next corner, and he made it stick. It was decisive. And we're back again. 2.5 laps to go. Is there going to be another sting in the tail here, this time for Tim Gajser? The track is drying out. It's becoming slick. There's marbles all over the place. And then you get over here, and it's soft and stodgy, and he was almost out the front door there, Cairoli, as he came in to land. He is trying overtime. Watch this, over on the far right-hand side. He takes off here. He comes into the next turn, and then there, a warning sign for Cairoli. The breeze starting to pick up. The atmosphere now moves to 12. And Gajser, well, this one's his to throw away now. We are heading into the penultimate lap here at Trentino. Is there one last roll of the dice for the 9-time champ, Tony Cairoli? Is this where we see the changing of the guard? Oh! Oh, bubble there for Gajser. That allows a lifeline for Tony Cairoli. He is right back into it, 0.8 of a second. And Gajser is the one that has to respond. He had himself a little buffer. He built up that gap. And now it's he that is on the ropes. Drifting his way through the turns, lighting up the rear wheel. Watch this, he comes in. Too much front brake. Oh, the front just got off the ground and he missed the entry point. Neither rider, I mean, they are right on the very edge here and managing to look like it's so easy, but it is not easy when these guys are lapping 2 or 3 seconds quicker than everybody else. You know they are on the absolute limit of adhesion, and the suspension is on the limit as well. Tires are working overtime, and bodies as well. Cairoli cleaner out of there than Gajser. We are about to enter the final lap. Gajser so far has timed his run to perfection. Wow. Slightly different angle for us there, just to see how they come through that right-hander at the bottom. Oh, ugly that from Cairoli. Got a bit of a kick, over-jumped, didn't get the drive that he wanted. Favours that inside line at the bottom of the hill, but you see how much more effective the outside line is there. The wide sweep across. Just more momentum there for Gajser. 1 minute 48.49 is all that stands between us and the checkered flag. 1:46 for Tim Gajser, actually, as he hits the line, opens up a 1.2 buffer. Both riders pushing it to the extreme, and you've got back markers coming up in the opposite direction. They'll probably catch them over on the far side, just at the end of the wave section. They'll be aware that the leaders are coming through, but Gajser makes a bobble in that turn. So too does Cairoli. Mistakes are coming in thick and fast now from the two leaders. Cairoli goes to the inside. He follows Gajser through. He wants to go the short route through. Their heart rates must be through the roof here at the moment. Good clean drive from both. Good drive, good turn, good corner speed. Gajser's heart must be in his mouth. He can sense the Sicilian is right there. Is he going to snatch victory in the final couple of corners here? The crowd are on their feet. They have been from the very first lap. 19 laps to go. Cairoli gets a kick at the top of the hill. Gajser is going to make it his. Tony Cairoli jumps long. He's just going to run out of time. 1.2 was the gap going into the final lap. And Tim Gajser, he will take his second race win of the season, and that is a big win here. Wow, talk about stretching that one out. Good sportsmanship from these two, but Tony Cairoli set the fastest lap on the final lap, a 1:45.2, 2/10 quicker than Tim Gajser, but it's Gajser who picks up 25 points here in race one. Tony Cairoli second, Gajser Paulin should still be third, but what an atmosphere, what a place to come and watch a round of MXGP. It never disappoints. The noise down there is insane. Here is Gajser Paulin. The Monster Energy Wilbo Yamaha rider will be content with third, but he cruises over the line, some 54 seconds down on your eventual winner, Tim Gajser. Arno Tonas, his teammate, comes home in fourth, so both the Yamahas third and fourth. Here is Tim Gajser, and Lisa Leyland getting ready to speak to him, but a big win for the former two-time champ. Let's hear what he has to say. And but that was impressive. He timed his run to perfection, And he's taken the first strike here, if you like, taken first blood here in Italy. Right, let's hear what Tim Gajser has to say. Here he is with Lisa.
Tim Gajser, fantastic race from you. Timed perfectly, 25 points your way. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. You know, I was enjoying out there. Didn't have the best start. So first lap, I tried to pass the guys in front of me as soon as possible, and then I was behind Tony all the race. Didn't want to rush because I know the race is long, and you know, I passed him like perfectly, a couple of laps to go. He pushed really hard. I mean, like the pace was really high. But yeah, I'm looking for a second one as well.
Great job, thank you.
When you push to the limit that those two did, Tim Gajser and Tony Cairoli, and you have your post-race interview and you're not breaking a sweat and you're not out of breath and looking forward to doing it again race 2, you know you're on the top of your game and you know you're feeling confident having picked up that race win in race 1. Which way will it go in race 2? Of course, we will be back this afternoon in about 2 hours' time with the concluding part of MXGP. We'll have MX2 race 1 before then, though, but here is the official confirmation of MXGP race 1. Tim Gajser edges out Tony Cairoli by just over a second, despite the Italian setting the fastest lap on the final lap. Gajser, Paulin, Arno Tonus 3rd and 4th, Monticelli 5th, Lupino, Simpson and Siwa, your top 8. AJ was 9 and Van Hoorbeek 10. Then it was Paul Jonas, Clement de Sal, Julian Lieber, Glenn Koldenhoff, Tano Leop, Benoit Paturel, Tommy Searle, Petar Petrov, Brian Bogas, and Jose Boutron. Damage limitation for Clement de Sal. We'll see the championship situation now. Tony Cairoli moves to 169 points. And then Tim Gajser on 150. Paulin up to 3rd, Van Hoorbeek up to 4th. De Sal, damage limitation for him this weekend as he drops 2 places to 5th. Then we've got Jessiconis, Siwa, Simpson, Lieber and Jonas. Anstey also out of the top 10 after not finishing race 1. He had a fall, we didn't see it, but he's damaged, or he's hurt his right leg, or one of his legs anyway. And hopefully we'll see him up there in race 2. But Cairoli still leads the way, but his gap at the top has been cut by 3 points by Tim Gajser. Well, what a race that was. So I think we should recap, don't you? Here's how it went down in MXGP Race 1. Centre of the gates, Tony Cairoli came across Tonus and Gajser, Monticelli, in fact everybody. Gajser almost up the bank and off the side of the bike there. He came out of the first turn in about 5th place. It was Italians 1st, 2nd and 3rd though, with Cairoli, Lupino and Monticelli. Paulin was in 4th. Gajser ran it up the inside of Paulin, and I'm sure there'll be words there. A mistake from Monticelli allowed him into 3rd. He then went after Lupino, made that move at the top of the hill. And then he had to make it stick. Paulin, though, got himself past the first of 2 Italians, Alessandro Lupino. Arno Tonus followed him through. And then Paulin got himself into 3rd. Monticelli, well, Max Anstey, first of all, he fell and eventually pulled out of the race, but Benoit Paturel getting caught and passed there by the number 91 of Jeremy Siwa. Siwa eventually came in 8th. Jonas and Jessiconis ganged up on Benoit Paturel, and they were both through on the same lap, and actually AJ found his way past his teammate around about the same time as well. He came home in 9th. A bobble for Cairoli allowed Gajser a sniff of victory. The mechanics couldn't wait, couldn't look. Then a bobble again from Tony Cairoli allowed Gajser in for the lead. He tried to respond immediately, right in front of the Slovenian fans. And it was like this for the final 2 or 3 laps. But in the end, Gajser thought he got it won. He made a mistake. That allowed Cairoli back in. And despite the fastest lap on the final lap, Tony Cairoli had to be content with 2nd. It was Gajser who took his 2nd race win of the year. Paulin was 3rd. Another epic encounter here in Trentino. What can we expect in race 2? Well, of course, You can join us on MXGP TV for more action a little later on. Let's check the foxhole shot, though. Right at the start of the race. And it was the Red Bull KTM of Tony Cairoli. 5 now to Julian Lieber's 2 from the first 7 races. It's the last place he wants to be, isn't it? Right, let's go get our breath, maybe a drink or two. We're going to take a break for about an hour or so. Let's take a look at some of the best moments from MXGP Race 1 and let's do it all again in about an hour's time.